BC in the house.
It's called Pug Ugly.
Pug Ugly. All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
By the
Yo,
way, so
how?
we've got the Red Dog Reversal. We've got the Faux Show Bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to call mine the Lund Loop. It drops down, loops back up.
I
There
like
you go.
that. I like that. It's almost like you stole that from somewhere else,
I know, right?
Almost. How was Fami's piano playing?
That man is a renaissance man. I will tell you. He not only can he manage stocks, but he can play piano and play drums.
Did he play the drums too at his party or no?
Yeah, so he played. They got up and did some Journey, and he got up there and banged it out like a pro, and it was great. It was great.
Good for him. Good
Sorry I
for
missed
him.
you guys. Sound like you guys had a good time earlier in the week.
It's Vegas. I mean, Vegas is awesome. I got to go to Vegas in March, for one of these things. And I'm trying to get my wife to come with me because I was just there. And I'm like, dude, Morgan would love this and she needs it. She's got a zillion kids, I'm like, hey, let's go to Vegas. She's like, for what? I'm like, remember the old days we used to go all the time? We live in California. It's so close.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, if you had a boring Friday, someone would say, hey, let's go to Vegas, right? You'd sit in the car and literally like that scene in Swingers. But I'm going to drop some like insider knowledge here for Vegas. So if you go to Vegas and you're not into the strip and you're not into gambling and, strippers and all that stuff, 45 minutes outside
why do you
of
have
Vegas,
to group all of those as like if you're into the strip, you have to be into the strippers?
Yeah,
Why
well,
can't you be into
strippers. Yeah, let's just leave it there.
like
So
I don't gamble and I don't deal with strippers, right? I don't see the reason to pay for it. You could just do it the old fashioned way. But I'm into the strip, so I'm 1 for 3 on those.
yeah, that feels like a whole different show. So if you're not into that stuff, 45 minutes from the strip, like literally 45 minutes from the strip, is a place called Mount Charleston. Now, Mount Charleston is almost 12,000 square feet, 12,000 feet up. That's as high as Breckenridge.
Wow,
You
yeah,
go
that's
up there, beautiful hiking. I went out there with Shannon last February. I was out there at Joe's thing. It's a whole different world, and you won't believe that you are in Nevada, and you won't believe that you're just outside of Las Vegas. So that's the insider tip there.
Does it get cold up there? Probably, right?
Dude, there was snow. I was up there, a couple weeks ago. Snow. There was snow on the ground still.
What
By the way, what's going on with you, man? It's just painful watching you. You look like you're not doing so well. What's going on, man?
lost my voice, I have a zillion kids, so they were all sick, family was sick, so it got me, but I'm on the way up, my voice was basing this weekend. Had a nice little breakout on Monday. We're getting some follow through now over the last couple days,
Yeah, everything's a chart reference. I get it.
What can I tell you, bro?
Morgan's a lucky girl, I'll tell you.
She doesn't like my jokes, so I like to throw that out there, with you guys. BC Lund, I am told that the market's about to crash. Everybody knows, right? It's practically certain at this point. 2% off the all-time highs. Stock markets all over the world making all-time highs. Russell 2000, NASDAQ, Dow, S&P, micro caps, the micro cap index closing an all-time high. I'm being told the market's going to crash. Do you agree?
Yeah, look, I think one of the problems we have in the market, in society now, is everything is binary. Everything is black or white. I'm with this team or that team. You're 100% wrong. I'm 100% right. There is a vast region between crash and bull market. And I just think we're in a little bit of a rest period right now. Now, will that turn into a crash eventually? Could, I guess. But right now, I just see the market pulling back. I see you having to be a little bit more selective in the names. I see a lot of the go-to names that people have been trading like crazy this year are starting to break down. So no, I don't think a crash is necessarily on the horizon, but I think right now you get towards the end of the year, my favorite time of year, I took some money out of the market about a month, like literally took it out. Like it's funny. People will sit there and say, I've made so much money in the market, and then they'll just leave it in there. And then when the market corrects, all that money goes away. I actually took money out of the market about a month ago, and I'm just having a relaxing, enjoyable fall. I'm getting my Thanksgiving, the list of the dishes we're going to do. So yeah, so right now I'm kind of watching, but I don't think a crash is inevitable.
Brian, you've got a couple years on me, right? Man, you're still,
Thanks for reminding me of that.
oh, you're still, young, good-looking guy, right?
Mm,
You're not,
thank you.
good. You're good.
They
But you
call me El Guapo. I get it.
have a few years on me. I mean, that's
Yep.
just math, right? I count.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard. So you know, you were around in the 90s. You were around in the early 2000s. I really
Yeah.
didn't come into this game until '03, right? So like obviously I've studied those. I could tell you what happened, and I've studied all the markets before that, but you lived it. And back in the late 90s, most stocks were falling. There were literally only a few stocks going up. I didn't live it, but I've gone back and I've counted, so I can tell you that is true. But you lived it, and so that was a real bubble, and it did come collapsing down, and had massive ramifications. I am not seeing any of that in today's market, but so many other people seem to. So as somebody who was there and lived it, any thoughts?
Yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts. So I think, people always focus on 1987 when we had that big crash. And I was there for that too, 23% on one day. But that kind of came out of nowhere, right? When you look at what happened in 2000, when you look at the financial crisis, there were signs that that eventually would happen. Like I believe right now, as we sit here, I believe that this market we are in right now will end absolutely horribly at some point. Like I believe money's too easy. There's too much incestuous relationships between companies. There's too many derivatives. But will that happen tomorrow or will that happen in 3 years? I don't know. Everybody knew in 1996 and 1997 that it would end horribly, but we didn't know when it would end. Everybody knew in 2007 when 1,200 square foot houses around here were going for $1.5 million. Everyone knew it was going to end horribly at some point, but nobody knew when it would happen. So I think we will have a shakeout. I think we'll have a reckoning. I think we'll have a generational event, but I don't see it yet, and I'm not smart enough to know when it will happen. Someone on a Spaces yesterday said, well, the market is telling you that this is not a time for high PEs, blah, blah. I said, that's because that's what price is telling you. Price is going to eventually tell you what the fundamentals are. And so I'm just going to focus on price, focus on the faux show bros, the red dog reversals, the Lund loops, But again, I took some money off the table. I'm kind of light right now, and that's by design. I like this time of year. I've got 2 kids that are getting close to being out of the house. I want to be present. I don't want to wake up on a morning like yesterday and be freaking out and have anxiety going, So I paid myself a month ago because this was a goddamn great year, and people should be doing that. They should be paying themselves if they did really good this year.
Brian, you focus on certain specific stocks. Not so much all stocks, right? I like to think about all stocks, but I know you focus on specific ones. So in this market, rather than rotating into some of the areas that are working now that weren't working before, like these healthcare names that haven't been working forever, now are the best. Like these transportation stocks that haven't been working forever, now are the best, right? Like, how do you think about that rotation? Or you rather just wait for the others to come back? Like, how do you think about it?
So there's levels of rotation. Like there's like subtle rotation where you're going from hot stocks to maybe not so hot stocks. Then there's bigger rotation, like you were talking about earlier, where you're going from big cap tech to railroads. Like when it's that situation, I'm going to be stepping back because I'm not really interested in trading railroads. I'm really not interested in trading shipping stocks. They just don't move in the same way that I need them to move for what I'm doing. So in that situation, I'll just kind of step aside and wait for the fatter pitches. When it's a more of a subtle shift, subtle rotation, maybe a temporary rotation, I'll go for some of the other names that are acting well. I mean, if you look right now, there's I put this on our watch list last Friday, and I think it broke out on Monday. But like, look at Las Vegas Sands, right? So Las Vegas Sands is breaking a long-term trend line. It broke it. It had a great little week, about a week-long consolidation. Then it's starting to move the next leg up. Go back to July. Look at Wynn. Okay. Now, Wynn is on my no trade list. Now, that's a long story I can't even get into. But Wynn broke out. It broke that long-term downtrend in July, right? So, who's been talking about casino stocks? I haven't heard a lot of people talking about them, but those are some names that are looking interesting. Now, on an anecdotal level, you were in Vegas. I was in Vegas. I walked up and down the strip all day long on Saturday. That place was pumping. And
Yep.
we saw a couple months ago, all the press was saying Vegas is dead. Nobody's going to Vegas anymore. That was the time to go, okay, that seems a little too far one way. Let me look at the charts. Let me see, are they firming up? So there's always going to be places, I think, to find action. It's just a question of, how much that rotation is going. Is it going too far out of your wheelhouse? Is it going into stocks that are more investment vehicles than they are trading, and then acting accordingly?
I got a few charts that I just want to walk through. If you could throw up slide 2. Curious, you're an old school guy. You appreciate this kind of thing. And then I got one more that I'll add here. So yeah, so throw up slide 2 there. So there. So Apple. I don't know if you heard, Brian. Kind of a big deal. Highest monthly close ever. Go ahead, next. IBM, highest monthly close ever. Next. These are all Dow components of the Dow Jones Industrial Average for those who are new to markets.
And there's my 25-year base right there in Cisco. Love it.
25-year high in Cisco. Next. Walmart all-time highs, and then Amazon all-time highs. Refresh it. It's the new slide 5 there, but Amazon also hitting new all-time highs. So, when you see this, by the way, Caterpillar all-time highs also, which, to me is a market bellwether, most definitely. How do those things make you feel?
I think one of the things that we have to remind ourselves of is that for most of this year and most of the bull run we've had, Apple hasn't participated in, right? So it's now just starting to participate. And again, I think what we're seeing here is that this has been a very, very forgiving market. Like, this market has given a lot of grace to people that don't have a methodology, that have gotten in at bad entry spots. It's bailed them out again and again and again. I think the market's getting a little more selective, right? I think you have to be a little bit more of a stock picker. You have to be in names that are acting well, that are breaking out from bases. So yeah, and again, this just goes to the point that I don't think the market is going to crash tomorrow. I think eventually this will all end, but right now it's being a little more selective and just picking your spots.
Phil Blodsky, good question here, Brian. How did it feel in 29? How was that? Were you around?
Took me a second. I had to wait. Okay, 29. Good. I like that. That's nice. Right. I'll tell you how it felt in 87. It felt like.
How old were you in 87?
87, I would have been 20. I would have been 20. And I'd been
trading. You remember well?
What's that?
You remember it well?
I remember that day. I literally remember the day because
when I was 20, things are a little fuzzy, a little blurry.
Yeah. Well, this was a weekday, so I was still present. Nice, I was taking a class at community college in investing, and back then the only way you could stay up with what was going on in the market, especially when I had a job after school, so I was driving around, was the radio. There was a radio station out here called KMNY, Money Radio, 1600 AM, and
Money Radio.
Money Radio, yeah. Buzz Schwartz, old school guy, long passed away. Every 15 minutes, they would cut in to say, okay, now, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. The only difference is you didn't have the echo chamber of social media, right? You had to wait until you saw Louis Navellier that night on, Wall Street This Week or whatever it was. I can't remember the show that told you how bad it was. I think if we had
Louis Rukeyser on Wall Street.
Rukeyser, sorry, yeah. I think if we had, see, this stuff. I think if we had the echo chamber of social media back then, it would have been widespread panic. Now, the only other time I remember it being kind of that bad was at the absolute depths of COVID. I remember the day that we bottomed. I went to the supermarket. The shelves were bare. It was rainy out here, cold in Southern California. I literally stopped at the gunsmith to pick up ammunition because I just was like, so yeah, those are the 2 days that stick out in my memory as being pretty interesting.
I'm trying to, here it is.
Yeah, right. And what does that tell you? You just did something right on the magazine cover thing. That was probably the biggest buy signal in history right there.
Earth closed If you're not fucking buying stocks with Earth closed, like what are you waiting for? So this magazine came out, the market bought on the very next day, by the way.
Yeah, and isn't there one out there, The Death of Stocks, right? There was one like
The
that.
Death of Equities,
Death
Business
of
Week,
Equities.
1979. What I would give to have that magazine. Anybody out there listening, you are going to be my best friend. I will owe you a favor for life if you find me. You don't even have to buy it. I'll pay for it. Just find me where to get it. Death of Equities, 1979 Business Week. I mean, dude, I have so many of these magazine covers. I mean, I got
somebody today is going to the librarian of a massive metropolitan library to say, "Do you have a back issue of?" Right.
This is the bottom in 1974. This is the all-time low of the stock market. A bear, pulling a Kool-Aid man coming out of the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, if that's not the bottom, I don't know what is.
You know, it sucks though. Today we don't really have anything like that. Those were like one focal point where we could say, "Oh, here's a signal," but now it's all over the place all the time. New Yorker. Yeah, nice.
That was the bottom of the 2002 low. Here's the crash of 1999 that never happened, obviously. Here's Time Magazine. Is the boom over? This is 98. Obviously, it was not. And then, of course, one of my personal favorites, the mighty dollar. Remember this one? How do you think the dollar did after that?
This is interesting, but it also tells me you may have too much time on your hands. I don't know.
Dude, I've been collecting these for probably since like the great financial crisis. Probably since I've been collecting this, since when? Since I think it was February of 07 when that first Bear Stearns fund blew up. That's when I started being like, I started taking snapshots of my whole Quotron because I saw the Dow down 400 points for the first time in my life. I'm like, oh my God. So that's
surprised you haven't frame those and put them up on your wall.
I did. When I had a hedge fund, in like 2011, 2012, I did. I actually had that the one I just showed you, the New Yorker, and I had this one framed also. Let's see, where is it?
Was that Osprey Capital? Is that what that was?
No, this was Eagle Bay.
Eagle Bay, yeah.
Home sweet home. So how did real estate do after that, right? This is what you were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I had those hanging on my wall back then. So I probably had too much time on my hands back in the day, but I've been digging through boxes, finding, because I had to give a presentation. I'm giving a part 2 on Friday. So that's why I have these handy, because
So here's a question for you. You got kids. So are you telling your kids about the market? Are you teaching them about that? And is there a new offering coming from whatever you guys call it, market media or whatever?
Technical analysis for toddlers.
Yeah.
No, we do, because they see me on my laptop. They're like, not anymore. They know what I'm doing. But before, I was like, Daddy, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, this is Disney. Like, what do you mean this is Disney? Oh, this is McDonald's, Starbucks. I show them the charts of companies that they know.
Yeah.
I was very
lucky during my kids' youth to work from home, to trade from home. And I remember one day my daughter came in, she was like 4 or 5, and I was trying to trade. I was in a position and she's like, "What's going on, Dad?" And I said, "Look, we're looking at this stock and green is good. Green is good." She's like, "Yeah, Dad, green is good." We're like cheering, "Green is good, green." And then about a week later, she came in and said, Dad, green is good. I said, no, red is good. Because I was short. I'd gotten short something, and her head was just like, I thought it was green is good. I'm like, no.
Well, I'll tell you another thing. Every Sunday for their entire lives, at 6 o'clock or like 5:50 or so, I'm asking my kids. I'm like, "What do you guys think? Green or red on the open?" Oh, 6 o'clock for us, 3 o'clock for you. So I'm like, "What do you guys think?" And they're like, "Green, Daddy, green."
That's funny.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
And you got them in sports betting? Have you got started that with them yet? Are they?
They're too young for that, but like I have friends whose kids are, and like I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I haven't figured that out yet. I have time, so I'm not worried about it yet. But like I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I'm sure they've got Miami Hurricanes bed sheets and stuff like that, right?
Oh, these days it's all superheroes around here, bro. My kid actually thinks he's the Incredible Hulk.
That's funny.
So that's another story. Mr. Brian Lund, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find me at thelundloop.com. We've got a great community there. We'd love to have you there. You can sign up for free, and then I can't wait to see you there. See the Lund loop, right? The red dog reversal, the faux show blow. Now blow, well, bro, we've got the Lund loop now.
Well, sometimes we blow it. BC Lund, thank you, sir.
Yeah, feel better, buddy.
Thank you.
Right. That was awesome. Brian's great.
He is the man. I mean, he's
Yeah.
an OG. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been around. I don't remember him not being around.
Hey, it's Brian from the Lund Loop. If you'd like to get the full daily and weekend updates, along with my trading watch lists, as well as access to our members-only Discord, go to thelundloop.com and become a subscriber today.